Biblically, we are familiar with a number of, let's call it siblings rivalry. Cain and Hevel, Yaakov and Esav, the tribes against Yosef. But there's one of them that is less known and has of great importance. Yitzchak and Ishmael. Before I go into the more details, let us first recite chapter of Tehillim, the Rebbe's chapter 124, Shir HaMalos, the David. Lule Adonai shoyer lanu yemanu Yisrael. Lule Adonai shoyer lanu bekum aleinu odom azay chaim lanu b'charois ha'pambanu. Azay hamayim shtefunu nach le'over al nafshenu azay over al nafshenu hamayim azidonim. Baruch Adonai shelo nisanonu teref l'shuneim. נפשנו כציפורים לאותו מפחיה, כשמפח נשבר ואנחנו נמלטנו, עזרנו בשם אדוני עושי שמיים וארץ. King David thanks God for always coming to our support. If not for God, we would be long swallowed. And as he concludes, our help is in the name of God, the maker of heaven and earth. For that, we're also going to give some tzedakah, some charity, for the safety, security of all of Klal Yisrael, all over the world, and for the ultimate peace for all of humanity, which is basically the coming of Mashiach. So back to my rivalry. Dispute between Ishmael and Yitzchak. We are told that at one point Ishmael came to complain to his father, or maybe to his brother, having a conversation, says, who do you think you are? You think yourself you are superior? You are the chosen? You did circumcision. You no choice about it. Your father circumcised you at the 8th day. You were an infant, you had no say in the matter. You were not asked your opinion. It was done on you, with or without your consent. At most, you were crying, but that was the extent of your reaction. I, says Ishmael, I was a 13-year-old. I was an adult. And when our father Abram came and told us that God wants us to be circumcised, father at the age of 99, me at the age of 13, I accepted as an adult. I was aware of the consequences. I realized there's going to be a painful experience. Yet I did it. So my action is much more valued, much more meaningful than your circumcision, which was done on the 8th day. And it sounds like a proper argument. Yet we know, as it says in the parsha of this week, right at the beginning of Tazria, where the Torah says, "Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe lemor," when God speaks to Moshe Rabbeinu, woman is going to give birth to a boy, ubayom hashmini yimoil besar or losei. And on the 8th day, this child should be circumcised. Same thing he said in Lech Lecha. A very specific command that it has to be on the 8th day. In fact, we know it is so exact, it is so precise, that even if it's on Shabbat, that normally one does not do surgeries on Shabbat, drawing blood on Shabbat, unless it's a medical emergency, that's a different story. But in general, we do not do procedures on Shabbat. For that matter, even on Yom Kippur. If the Yom Kippur is the 8th day of the baby's birth, we will do circumcision. We're not going to do a feast, but the circumcision itself will be done. That's how specific it is. And on the 8th day. Now, what time of the day? You can choose between early morning or any time during the day. So Yishmael seems to have a valid argument. He did it large. He did it as an adult. Not somebody who was quote unquote coerced in doing it. So why the importance of the 8th day? And the answer lies in exactly that. Yishmael did it as an adult. Circumcision represents the bond between God and us and God. Is it a bond which is based on my experience, on my intellect, on my decision, or is it a bond which is beyond everything? The 8 represents infinity. Symbol of infinity is the 8 lying down. What God says over here, that bond between you and me and you, is of an infinite. It doesn't depend on your mood swings. It doesn't depend on your experiences. It doesn't depend on your knowledge. You're a baby. And it's eternal.